Hi everyone, this is Antonello Arpino from AWS. I'm Principal BSS Transformation Manager in the Telco Partner and Portfolio team. And today I'm here to talk to you about OSS and BSS, so Operation Support System and Business Support System running on AWS. We will go through some industry trends and the important topics to help you understand why OSS and BSS solutions in the telco world they are critical and why it's critical their journey to the cloud. So we as AWS have a strong opinion on why OSS and BSS is critical for driving cloud transformation. And if we want to see the operators in a high-level schema like we are presenting now, we can distinguish four main technical domains area. One of it is actually the customer interaction, so how the operator interacts with their customers, with their user, where all the customer experience is actually highlighted. Then another domain is their internal enterprise application suite, which allows them to run their business. And then we have two critical components which are specific in nature for the operators. One of that being the OSS and BSS, so the systems which actually help them govern their networks and interact in the business way with their customers, and of course the network which deliver the ultimate service. All this, we do believe that they are undergoing a large transformation, and we do also believe that AWS can play a strong role in this, thanks to the cloud technology we do have. And the use of transversal services like AI, ML, and the security and underlying data strategy around it. But now let's focus on the topic of today, which is OSS and BSS systems. For the ones who are not that familiar with the telco industry, let me spend a few words on what exactly are OSS and BSS. OSS is actually the set of applications which allows the telco operator to manage their networks. So in practice, they do the software automations of the critical operational process of an operator, process like plan to build the network, or rather than fulfill the provisioning and activate the network and the service itself. Those set of applications which automate those processes are in this industry called operation support systems. BSS, on the other side, is the way the operator interact with their end user running their business. So it's again the set of application which automates the business process related to the way the operator make business with their customer. So processes like lead to order, order to cash, cash to bill, bill to trouble, and contract terminations are implemented through those set of applications. So then why OSS and BSS on AWS? We have been having several experience in the last 4 years in the telco industry and in the last 2 years specifically on OSS, BSS, where a lot of transformation is happening. And we see that we can bring value by leveraging on the specific capabilities that we have on AWS. Most and foremost important of all those is, of course, that we embrace what we call an ubiquitous cloud programming model, which means we have a set of possible deployment options when running your OSS, BSS workloads that can be sitting in the region, but is actually what we call our public cloud. Or we can run them in our hybrid offering set of infrastructure like Outpost or Wavelength or local zones, snow cones, family, and so on and so forth. What we have been really focused is that to give to operators a seamless experience on running their applications in whatever of this, and that's what we call ubiquitous cloud programming model. And particularly when you are running those applications, there are three main aspects which are extremely relevant, at least as we have seen with our customer running them on AWS, right? Of course, the first one is around automation and agility. This comes hands in hands on the software modernization, which is also happening because of this digital transformation, which is running now in telco operators in their journey becoming a digital service provider. This increase, of course, leveraging on the modern software technology, so microservices, API-driven implementation, general purpose built databases, all this modern technology in the software well matched with AWS platform, and they therefore can create more rapid deployment for their services and their software, and they can leverage increased automation on the AI ML services we do have. And thanks to the vast variety of managed service we do have on AWS, that's actually freeing up a lot of time from the development and operations teams in the operators, which they can use to invent more in behalf of their customer. The second aspect is also the resilience and improved the operation that we do have in the AWS infrastructure. We can easily scale up and scale down. We have very robust and infrastructure, and thanks to how geographical distribution and availability zone concept, we can bring level of resiliency and redundancy which are up to the expectation of the telco industry, if not better in certain cases. And of course, we do have a lot of experience in this space because of these 4 years that we have been working together with telco operators and software vendors and system integration company in the telco industry. I have built this kind of components. As we normally say in AWS, there is no compression algorithm for experience. And then the third aspect is, of course, the economy of scale we can bring as an hyperscaler, right? So the large set of data center we do have and a vast variety of compute machines allows to have economy of scale, and at the same time allows also to be flexible using auto-scaling mechanism. So we are in a little bit of change of paradigms when it comes to planning of the dimensioning criteria of those applications, because we leveraging on auto-scaling, we can actually start small and then scale in and scale out on our underlying infrastructure, which brings savings per se, because you don't need to pre-provision and pre-install the compute capacity you need to run your business. You can just react how the business goes, which also helps bring, of course, efficiency and, again, save energy to invest in innovation. So, as I was saying, with now 4 years, we are working heavily in the telco sector, and the last 2 years we've been focusing a lot on OSS and BSS. And we, thanks to the large cooperation that we have with a set of partners, we have developed an architectural framework, specifically looking into this framework. What we have understood together with a large set of partners, that you can see on the right side of the picture, a lot of names, big names in this industry. We have come together and we have identified the most relevant services which are helping them improve their software and in turn improve how this software is run on the telco operator side of the business. So, and what we have also observed in the last 2 years, that as this industry evolves, it gets more into leveraging on the cloud technology that we do provide as a service, which in turn brings a positive spin wheel effect on the development speed of the industry as such, on our ISV partners, but also on the operators when they were the head of the builders. and of course also allows to get better TCO because of leveraging more on the managed services from AWS. So now, as of today, we have a very large set of native services which are helping our partners to develop better modern software for the telco operators, and are actually helping also the operators in one side developing themselves when they feel the need to do so, as well make their life easier in the operation. And we are tackling more or less all of the different domains in a typical telco operator that you can see enlisted in these slides as a layered architecture from the front end down to the network, and the vertical side, which is the common services, which is around governance and security of the software stack. So pre-announced what we built also in the last 4 years is a large set of partners, especially in OSS BSS. Nowadays we have more than 25 industry partners in the software vendor which are developing software specifically for implementing the automation in OSS and BSS. 95 or more of our actually workloads that we have managed to successfully run on AWS are coming from these 25 partners, and we are adding more year over year. This is true especially because we all know, or if we don't know now, we know that when it comes to OSS and BSS, there is a lot of industrialized software practice in there, which is actually helping the operators to implement the automation on the critical processes, to run their software and to run their business and to run their networks. So this is very critical component, and we have worked hard to extend our partnership with a large ecosystem, because we do understand that without helping the software vendor, which are the major player in OSS BSS, modernizing their software and make it more cloud native, therefore running more efficiently, we can't really bring the whole of the benefit to the telco operators. So we are working in a very large, extensive partner play when it comes to those domains. Then there is a very specific new trend, which most of you have been hearing about. 5G is coming. And again, here, OSS and BSS is very critical for 5G to be successful. Basically, because of three main components that we have to identify as AWS are super critical. There is no way to efficiently run a 5G network without implementing what is called closed loop automation. The network is becoming cloudified. The number of information which get pulled out is 1,000 times larger than the previous generation networks. And you need to react faster to the changing in the distributed number of devices that the 5G networks are enabling the operators to manage, as well how to enable the rapid provisioning and monitoring of the 5G slices, which is a specific technology which is coming from 5G, to actually segregate a software-defined component of the network to serve specific customer for business needs and industry-specific use cases. So all this won't be possible without having closed-loop automation mechanism running on the OSS side of the network, which can greatly be optimized by leveraging the cloud technology, and specifically automated through AI and ML, to take autonomous decision when it makes sense to be done, and to speed up the network adjustment to grant the service that is being subscribed to. Then the second component is, of course, elasticity. 5G is promising to bring unmatched speed and number of devices to be served, which will bring the challenge of the traffic load, which is going to increase dramatically. And we do believe that the elasticity is the right answer to this unpredictable behavior that will come from the different variety of traffic profiles and devices available out there while implementing the 5G use cases. So elasticity is definitely a critical component when you think on running 5G network, and needs to be there not only on the network side, but especially in OSS, BSS, because they will have to scale as the network scale. Then the third component is, of course, the presence of new generation sub-millisecond use cases, things like augmented reality and low latency gaming and health assistance in real time. This all requires sub-milliseconds low latencies to be granted, which means not only your network will then have to run very close to where the access is, therefore the customer is, to ground that, but also the controlling layer, so the OSS and BSS, needs to run there. And thanks to our ubiquitous programming model I was talking to you about before, this is possible. And that's another critical aspect to consider when running your telco business. Then now we switch to some reference cases that will tell you how across the course of these years we have been actually delivering on the promises about agility, speed, TCO efficiency, and innovation. The first one I want to talk to you about, it's a project that is running together with Amdocs and Vodafone in Germany. Here, there is really willing from Vodafone to bring the innovation and agility that they do believe it's fundamental piece for them to quick react to market changes. And also, we all know that we can't really predict what is going to be the killer application, the killer business on the 5G. So the strategy here is to get agility so they can actually quickly adapt to the changes and quickly react to market demands. This is actually a very big project that we are cooperating with Amdocs and Vodafone to deploy a full BSS stack running on AWS, leveraging on our cloud native technologies and native services, and bringing the agility and the speed of the microservice application BSS stack provided by Amdocs, together with the Vodafone ability to operate such complex operation. This is very unique in the market as we can see it now. It's the first large scale of this proportion that is really betting on the 5G technology, on the modern software technology and the cloud technology to bring agility innovation in the telco space. The second one is again with Amdocs. This is more about generating new revenue streams. We all know that there is a lot of pressure on the telco operators when it coming to OTT players. We know that part of the share of the pocket is actually devoted to services which are delivered by OTT players. When I talk about OTT players, I'm referring to the Netflix of the world or the actual Uber of the world and so on and so forth, right? Those services are now part of our daily life. So there is, as we all know, a great use of those services. And those services sometimes are colliding with the services which are done to the operator. What has been seen to be a very nice strategy to actually cooperate with those players to have a more rich portfolio, so adding new revenue streams to the operator, is going in the partnership play, which means managing their onboarding in your catalog of services, making possible to create bundles from telco operator services with OTT services, and actually make this in a seamless way that the actual end user are used to subscribe to those services, not going through the typical experience of subscribing telco specific services that we all know is going through shops and doing a lot of paperwork, right? Those services are actually subscribed online, and we have worked together with Amdocs to have a modern software for running in SaaS on AWS, which easier those process of creating and onboarding these products coming from the OTT, thus enriching the portfolio of services the operator, in this case, it was T-Mobile, to sell those services. Then the other case I'm gonna show you now is about speed. Here the challenge was very typical in this space. We have Quantel, which is a Finnish software vendor which provides full BSS stack running in cloud on AWS. And the challenge for them was to help Altan onboard the new MVNO, which is Psycho. And the challenge was to have that ready going in production in 3 months. But for the one who are used to this industry on the telco, we all know those are long projects, right? Are long processes to create the stack, make it viable for the MVNO, validate that is working, and then finally put in operation, right? That's normally a 1 year cycle, minimum. In this case, thanks to the delivery capability, leveraging on the cloud technology on AWS that Quantel is using and their Quantel Flex platform, they were able to shrink this lead time to 3 months, which is a quantum leap forward in the way we can deliver such solutions very quickly now. So speed, we all know, is important in business, and Quantel is proof pointing on that. Right now, together with the modernization which happened, we can do that in 3 months, which is actually incredible as we speak about it, right? So at the end of the day, Altan and Psycho were able to have this platform running in operation in less than 3 months, and they are running successfully in operation, which can make a huge difference when you're starting up a new business. Then the last example I'm going to talk about is around the use of artificial intelligence to automate operations, which talks about cost efficiency and the ability to use your skills and capability focusing on innovation. In this case, Micromozy, which is a global player in the network assurance space, they've been creating their platform on AWS, leveraging on our native technology to improve level of automation in service assurance. What is service assurance? Service assurance is actually the old word to say the cloud based on the closed loop assurance that we use in the 5G network. So is the set of system in OSS which allows you to monitor the execution of the network, prevent in case problems are happening, and correct problems. And this was traditionally a very long manual process. Thanks to Micromozy modern software architecture and the AWS native services combined together with leveraging on AI/ML in improving automation, they were able to actually improve a lot the experience when it comes to running service assurance processes on the globe network, which turns then in benefits like able now to really react very fast in case there are problems, or even prevent those problems when you see network degradation happening, and have also a large degree of automation in case you find problems. So you can actually automatically alert your customer services that problem might occur, and you can actually automate some provisioning activities to try to mitigate that problem, right? So this is a very, very, very important trend that we will see even more important in the 5G network, when speed, complexity, and number of data to be managed will go really sky high. So the industry is moving. So in a short recap, we can say that as of today, we have been receiving a lot of credits out from the work we have done. We have now running overall more than 30 partners in OSS and BSS, ranging from large names, tier ones that everybody knows in this industry, like Amdocs, Netcracker, Ericsson, Nokia, to HPE, IBM, and the more you can think about are there. They are all cooperating with us, as well, leaving a lot of room and space to more smaller and innovative players like Matrix, Micromozy, Atia, Bearing Point, and so on and so forth, because we do really believe that cloud technologies from AWS, they can help them, all of them, to speed up their development, make their software more efficient, increase the level of automation, and then ultimately bring more benefit in terms of cost optimization, speed, and automation in operation to the telco operator. That will result in ultimately a way better service and experience for the end user of the telco services. All in the last year, thanks to these larger ecosystems and experience we built together with our partners and our customers, we have been able to launch more than 50 services, net new, only in 2020, which is a big number if we think that we are only running in this space since a couple of years. Since the beginning, we are more than 100 of live services running on AWS, and you see they're running more or less everywhere in large names like Vodafone, T-Mobile, AT&T, Lebara, Globe, 3, Tata Consulting, British Telecom, and so on and so forth, which tells that cloud is not really a geographical constraint. It's not really a tier one job. Every single operator is taking advantage of the benefits of the AWS technology with our ecosystem of partners. They are doing it irrespective of the size, irrespective of geographical location, which tells also that it's not necessary to have a region to run those workloads. Thanks to our biggest programming model, we can actually have those services running basically when it makes more sense for you as an operator, in both terms of operation, legal requirements, and business constraints. So this is actually open up to actually everyone try, and we really encourage everyone to experiment such workloads running on AWS with our partners to really take the benefit out of it, right? And of course, we have seen a large increase of the use of native services. So we started with very few, the very classical one, EC2, EBS, S3. Now we have reached more than 20, even more advanced services like Lambda, Fargate, Tina, and in the IML space, like SageMaker, and so on and so forth, which also serverless computing is coming into the game, which brings even more efficiency and easier operations. So really the adoption is going light speed. And this will just create a positive spin wheel effect when it comes to the efficiency of scale, scalability, resiliency and redundancy, and a pace of innovation. Together with our partners, we can bring to the telco operators and ultimately deliver a superior experience to their customer, which is what the target we all work in this industry for. That's all for my side today. I hope you liked the presentation. Don't forget to answer to the questionnaire and to give your ranking if you've seen this useful, and every feedback is always super appreciated. Thanks a lot.